Stage 1. The vending machine. Punch a question into the slot, grab whatever snack drops out, and assume that is as good as it gets. That is how most people use AI every single day. And by the end of this video, you will know all 5 stages of prompting, plus exactly which stage is quietly capping your results. First, the myth that needs to die. Good prompting has nothing to do with secret magic words. No hidden phrase unlocks a smarter model. Prompting is a skill ladder with 5 stages, and most people are standing on the bottom rung, while insisting the ladder is broken. To make every stage concrete, we will upgrade one real task the entire way up, writing a cold email that wins new clients. At stage 1, the prompt is 6 words. Write a cold email for my business. The machine obeys, and you receive a polite template that opens with the phrase, "I hope this email finds you well." An email any company on Earth could send to any inbox on Earth. That happens because the model fills every missing detail with a statistical average. So a detail-free prompt buys you an average of everything answer. The common mistake here is blaming the tool, closing the tab, and telling your coworkers the technology is overrated. What you hit was not the ceiling, it was the floor. A full kitchen hides behind that vending machine, and you keep ordering from the snack row. The next stage is where the machine finally stops guessing who it is talking to. Stage 2. Context. At this stage, you quit making the model guess and start telling it who you are writing to, and what winning looks like. The model cannot read your mind, your inbox, or your business plan. It only holds the words you hand it, which is why the email sounded like an average of everyone. Now upgrade the prompt. Write a cold email for my mobile detailing business in Phoenix, aimed at managers of car dealerships. We just launched an on-site fleet service, and the goal is booking a 10-minute call, rather than selling inside the email. Same machine, same task, and suddenly the draft talks about fleet downtime, mentions the Arizona heat, and gives the manager one specific reason to reply. Nothing about the model improved between those 2 drafts. The only upgrade was the information it was finally allowed to use. Treat context like a suitcase you hand the robot before a trip. Pack what the destination requires, meaning your audience, your offer, your goal, and your limits. The common mistake runs in both directions because some people pack nothing, while others stuff in their whole life story until the one detail that matters suffocates under 40 details that do not. Longer is not better here. Relevant is better. Pack for the destination, not for every vacation you might someday take. Once the model knows your situation, the next stage tells it who to be, and that is where the answers grow a personality. Stage 3. Role. Context taught the model your situation. A role tells it who to be while it answers. Add a single line to the front of the prompt. You are a B2B sales copywriter with 10 years of cold outreach experience for local service businesses. That one sentence changes the posture of everything that follows. Subject lines get shorter. The email stops describing your company and starts describing the dealership's problem. You even receive opinions, like a firm suggestion to cut the second paragraph you were secretly proud of. A role works like a costume on the robot. Hand it a chef's hat and it cooks. Hand it a stethoscope and it starts asking about symptoms. And the costume rack is infinite, while most people never open the closet. The common mistake is choosing celebrity costumes instead of functional ones. You are Steve Jobs, sounds exciting and produces perfume ad nonsense, while you are a copywriter for busy dealership managers quietly produces money. The mistake I made for months was demanding a genius instead of describing a professional. Keep the role boring, specific, and employable. A dull job title in the prompt beats a famous name every time because the model needs a standard to meet rather than a myth to impersonate. At this point, the model knows your situation and its own job title, and the next stage is the one that separates casual users from people who ship real work. A quick check while we stand halfway up the ladder. Which stage are you actually on right now? Be honest, drop the number in the comments and I will read every answer. If this ladder is already explaining a few disappointing snacks, the like button takes 1 second and helps this channel more than you would think. Stage 4. Examples and rules. Here, you stop describing what you want and start showing it. Paste a sample into the prompt. This is a cold email that got replies last year. Match its tone and rhythm. Then set the rules. Keep it under 120 words, one clear ask, no buzzwords, no exclamation points, and never open by asking how their week is going. Examples work because the model is a world-class imitator, and a description of your taste stays fuzzy while a sample of your taste is exact. The same way a paint chip beats the phrase, "sort of a warm beige" at the hardware store. Rules work because they close the escape routes where drafts usually go wrong. Together, they turn the output from a lottery ticket into a product. And this is the stage where the cold email finally sounds like you wrote it on a very good day. The rules also spare you from re-explaining your taste tomorrow, since the same fence keeps working for every email that follows. The common mistake is handing over an example that breaks your own rules, like a sample with 3 exclamation points sitting beside a rule that bans them. The model notices the contradiction and picks whichever side it feels like, which is machine behavior, and frankly, also teenager behavior. Most people plateau one stage before this one and never discover how much control they left on the table. One stage remains, and it is the one that feels like cheating the first time you try it. Stage 5, the loop. Every stage so far ends the same way, since you write the prompt and accept whatever comes back. Stage 5 breaks that pattern by making the model critique and rebuild its own instructions. After the draft arrives, add one move. Tell it, act as the skeptical dealership manager who receives 40 pitches a week. List the exact lines that would make you delete this email. Then rewrite the prompt itself to prevent every problem you found, and generate the email again. You have stopped prompting the model and started teaching the model to prompt itself, while you stand inside the loop as the editor. It works like handing your essay to a ruthless proofreader instead of rereading it yourself and admiring the parts you already liked. The second draft answers objections you never noticed were there. Run the loop twice, and the gap between your email and everyone else's stage 1 snack starts to look almost unfair. The common mistake is confusing the loop with the regenerate button, because clicking regenerate on the same prompt is a slot machine, while the loop is a staircase, and only one of those goes up. The first time I ran a real loop on my own scripts, the critique came back so blunt that I nearly defended myself to a chatbot. That sting is how you know it is working. Time to find your rung. Stage 1, you just ask. Stage 2, you add the context. Stage 3, you assign the role. Stage 4, you show examples and set the rules. Stage 5, you loop the machine on itself. If you cannot tell where you stand, you are probably on stage 1 or stage 2, and that is good news because the biggest jump in quality lives between those first rungs. Climb exactly one stage tonight with one real task you care about. Practice one rung at a time, since this ladder rewards patience over ambition. That single next stage applied to real work beats any list of 100 prompt templates you will never open again. If this ladder just explained a year of mediocre snacks, consider subscribing because I untangle one confusing corner of AI every single week, and I would love to have you along for the climb.